Hey folks, how you doing? This is live. Yes, you get my awesome voice live today, the 17th of November, 2015. I gotta say, there are a lot of things going on. Okay? A ton of things going on. All right? Because, well, let's just say, a lot of people need to pay attention. And I'm typing, sorry. A lot of things are going on. The Paris attacks, funded and operated and perpetrated by our own government right here in the United States of America, from the military-industrial complex to the CIA. Now, a lot of people are saying, you conspiracy theorists are nothing but nut jobs. Yeah. Don't call me a conspiracy theorist. Okay? If I've overlooked something, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm wrong. It just means I overlooked something. You would say that anything missing out of my equation that I see of what's going on, you're going to claim that I'm wrong. I'm not. Okay, just to let you know. The one thing that I find in this whole narrative, the one thing that I find so incredibly just overwhelmingly stupid in this whole narrative is the fact that people are not looking at the facts. And if they are, they're not looking any deeper. Okay? They're not looking any deeper. Okay? You can say one thing about something you see and that's it. That's just, well, that's just the way it is, and that's the way it's always been, and that's the way it's always going to be because it works. No, it doesn't. Sorry. It doesn't work that way. My mind has changed over the years because I found new information. My mind changed over the years because I found new information. In other words, folks, I went digging for the truth and I found it. Okay? So you people out there who claim that the conspiracy theorists are completely nuts and they're going crazy and all this, you guys need to wake the hell up. I know a few people like that who have shows here on Spreaker, and let me tell you something, they need to wake the hell up. I don't know, folks. I don't know. Honestly, I do not know. Okay? I do not know. I'm going to go to break. I'll be back in about a minute. Don't go away. I shall return. The reality underneath the honesty. Listen to Brian Lang over at Live Truth Radio. Go to livetruthradio.com for more information. what we see is not reality. It is distorted reality. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. The only choice for all your independent hits on the internet. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to RadioRockTheBlitz.blogspot.com. Hey folks, how you doing? This is the American Liberty Radio Network right here with American Liberty Radio Live. Yes, I'm live. For once in a blue moon, I am live. For once, I'm live. I don't know how long I'm going to have the show. I'm looking at about an hour, but it may be longer than that. Who knows? Depends on how much information I gather as I'm doing the show. Excuse me. Title of the show is Refugees or Terrorists? Isn't that kind of a... I don't know. We have to look at this stuff. We really, really have to look at these issues because it's been news since last Friday. Okay? It's been news since last Friday. And if you have heard my other podcast from earlier, from BosniaPress.info, proven beyond all doubt the French government staged the attacks. I've seen videos pertaining to this particular subject. And let me tell you something. I totally and absolutely agree with that assessment. A glitch in the Mexican media has proven that the French government murdered quote-unquote victims while in custody at the authorities. We hear the author of this article at Bosnian Press, BosniaPress.info, says we definitely have a lot of dead people in these terror attacks, and it looks like none died in the name of Islam. That is on American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook. Check that out and give me your take on that as well. Also on American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook, Paris shooting, 10 ways it looks like a Hallmark false flag operation. Also from TimeToUnite.com, staged Paris false flag bomb hoax. And also from Infowars.com, CIA and French intelligence met prior to attacks. And of course, from Paranormalium, I know that's a hard word to say, Paranormalium.org, absolute proof Paris attacks was staged event. Excuse me. The facts are in, folks. The mainstream media that you tout to be the most wonderful thing on the face of this planet has completely and utterly lied to you in every way. Okay? They've completely turned your world upside down with their lies and indoctrination and their propaganda. And guess what? You're eating it up like a chocolate cake. Now, I know there's some people out there who are smart enough to know what's going on behind the scenes, but you don't say much of of anything about it because you don't want to be pegged as one of those nut job conspiracy theorists. Well, let me tell you something, folks. It's gone far beyond that. It's gone far beyond the identity of each individual. It's gone far beyond that, folks. It's gone far beyond the name calling. It's gone far beyond the titles that people give us. It's gone far beyond that. Okay? It's no longer the moment at which we can say, oh, it's just this, or it's just that. No. It's gone far beyond that, folks. I was listening to part of a program today on Spreaker, and, the host, literally said ISIS was the one that claimed the attacks on Paris. Yes, okay, but as I'm listening to him, he never went any farther than that. Folks, it goes far beyond that. Okay, so ISIS attacked France. Who's ISIS? Dig a little deeper, folks. Who is ISIS? Who is ISIS? You cannot tell me that you're just going to leave it hanging right there. You're not going to tell me that you're just going to say, well, it's this and this and this, and that's just the way it is. No. Did you not learn anything in high school when you did your research for your sociology paper? Did you not learn anything in college when you had to get your term paper in and you had to show your bibliography on your essays? Did you not learn a damn thing about research? Folks, and especially this host on Spreaker, I'll tell you who it is, Nick Larson over at The Resistance. He left it right there. And I'm listening to the program going, yes, but are you going to identify who ISIS is? He didn't. All evidence has stacked against ISIS to identify who controls them, runs them, and created them. And it's called the CIA and the Mossad in Israel. So I don't want to hear any more bull crap. Okay? Yeah, that's really, really difficult to wrap your mind around, isn't it? And some of you are probably saying, well, geez, if you're going to say that and accuse them, do you have any proof? Plenty. But I'm not going to sit here and hand you the answers. What part of research do you not understand? I've taken over 35 years of my life and researched every little thing that you would consider to be a conspiracy theory. The listeners, you, not anyone particular, no one specific. But you as listeners understand that there are people out there who are going to be classified as conspiracy theorists. Believe me, for me, I can't speak for them, but for me, I research everything. I may see something, and I may dig and take days and weeks to dig and find this information. And guess what? There are some things I look at and go, that's a bunch of bull crap. And in 5 minutes, boom, got the answer. Much like this Paris attack. I saw a video where a guy literally showed the staged part of the event. He showed it in a video. He was circling the lights. The stage lights. He was circling the other thing where a lady was hanging off a windowsill by her hand. And he goes, it's impossible for anybody to hang that long on a windowsill by one hand without having a harness. Okay? Then you have people in that whole, this whole paradigm who are filming these people saying, oh, look at this and look at that. Let me bottom line it for you, folks. The Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. It's done. It's absolutely done. You cannot tell me that any of this is not staged. I'm serious. You cannot tell me that any of this is not staged. Because, what, you're going to listen to your mainstream media? Because you're going to say, hey, look over here. Look over here. No. Have you ever stood in front of a magician? A magician. Sleight of hand, trickery, illusions. A magician. Have you ever stood in front of them? I have. And they've performed sleight of hand in front of my eyes no more than a foot away from my face, and I still don't know how the hell they did it. Okay? Now look at Hollywood. Makes these huge blockbuster films and television shows, and guess what? It's all an illusion, folks. It's sleight of hand. So don't tell me that the Paris, quote-unquote, attacks were not staged. You got to go, and don't say, oh, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Well, then use your freaking common sense and logic and start picking that thing apart, and you'll find that it was staged. Do I know that for a fact? Of course. The evidence leads right to it, and the videos and the other things that I've read, guess what? Hello? You can go on American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook, scroll on down, and you'll find several articles showing beyond a doubt that it was staged. But that's my opinion. You read those articles, you draw your own conclusions on that. And you get back to me. Let me know. You can email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. And I don't know what to tell you. I really, really don't. Honestly. If you're going to continue to question all of this, good. You might learn something. But just don't stick with one thing and say, well, that's just the way it is. Really? I'm going to go to break, folks. Don't go away. There's more to come right here on the American Liberty Radio Network. I'll come back and we'll talk about refugees or terrorists. Are they? And they're coming into the United States in droves. So, hey, what are you going to do about that, folks? Don't go away. I shall return right after this.
Are you tired of the mainstream media? The media that is so biased, you wouldn't even let your dog listen to it? Well, there's an answer. Angel Club. On RadioFreedom.us. Just listen to her fans.
One hell of a writer. I've read a considerable amount of her articles and quite impressed.
Broadcasting from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9. Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS. This is the American Liberty Radio Network.
Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Do you like old-time radio shows? Do you do voiceovers and want to hone your abilities? Have you ever wanted to try your hand at voice acting? Well, you are in luck because Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is casting voice characters for a play currently in pre-production. For more information, contact Eastland Radio Repertory Theater at eastlandradiotheater@usa.com or simply go to their website at eastlandradiotheater.weebly.com.
KrisAnne Hall, Liberty's lobbyist. Listen to the KrisAnne Hall Show. For more information, go to krisannehall.com. That's KrisAnnehall.com. krisannehall.com. Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome back. The American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com. If you want to email me, you can. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Something caused a deterioration in man's sense of community. People today can live in an area for years and never know their neighbors. Long-held social values such as charity have been replaced by alienation. The United Nations reports that more than 100 million people lead isolated lives without ties to family, work, or community. Something affected society's attitude towards marriage and divorce. In 1895, there were 15 marriages to every divorce. In 1990, there were 2 marriages for every divorce, a drastic change. Something has caused this disregard for the earth itself. More than 2.5 million square miles of forest have been denuded. With every passing second, an area of rainforest the size of a football field is cut down, and hundreds of species of birds, mammals, and other creatures have been extinct, never to be seen again. Something has led man to spend more money on drugs today than he does on food. More and more people depend upon drugs to relieve their ailments, escape boredom, and prop up their ability to face the day. Even children now take drugs, and millions more are given tranquilizers in the classroom, justified by the fictitious condition called hyperactivity. What has changed man's attitude about dealing with existence to the point where he rubs a chemical salve on every part of his life? Something has sparked a sharp increase in man's violence towards his fellows. In Los Angeles, for instance, 150,000 of its city's youth belong to gangs, and of these, 80% have been wounded by gunfire and at least once. Man has always had rituals of manhood where young men were welcomed into adulthood and their adult society. Never before have these rituals required bullet wounds. More violent, more callous, more careless, more antisocial. What has happened to man? One could blame science and technology. These have magnified man's ability to affect himself, his fellows, his environment, and all life. Sure, we have always had wars, but technology now allows wars capable of total destruction. Yet technology also conquers disease to prolong life, raises standards of living, and creates many other positive effects. While it increases man's capability for evil, it also increases his power for good. No, undoubtedly the change is within man himself. The something, whatever it is, has affected the way in which man thinks and the way in which he behaves. That's from a book I have in front of me. And it's totally and absolutely 100% correct. So here we are in the vicious pool of humanity in some cases, where fear and prejudice rule the day. And here we are in the United States of America, where we as people tolerated immigrants who wanted a better life. But now in the last 50 years or so, they come here to steal our resources. Oh, don't get me wrong. I want people here who want a better life. But I want them here legally. I want them here in a way that is going to help us and them at the same time. Not sit there and we go broke trying to support them. Well, President Obama doesn't want that because he doesn't give a crap about people except himself and his people he leads. Now, about these refugees from Syria, about these people that are coming over into different countries like in England and all sorts of places, even in the United States. Who are these people? We don't know these people. We have no idea who these people are. We better find out. Because more than likely, I would even go as far as saying for every 20,000 people that come into this country, there's going to be 100 or 500 radical Islamic jihadists that want to destroy the United States of America. Okay? So we better find out who the hell these people are before we do anything. Because, well, it's going to come down to one very simple solution. And that is, we're going to have to protect ourselves. We're going to have to protect ourselves. That's just the way it is. And we'll have to do it by any means necessary. And if you're not willing and ready and able to do that, I don't know what else to say. It's the bottom of the hour. I'm going to go to break. Don't worry, folks, I shall return. We'll talk more about I'll talk more and try to shed some light on these refugees or the terrorists. So don't go away. I shall return.
This is Frank Hannon. I want to tell you about an exciting brand new rock and roll album coming out this year by guitarist Greg Golden. Greg Golden's new album is some old school sounding rock and roll music that's sure to be a classic, featuring some killer songs, blazing guitar solos, and awesome lead vocals by Jeff Sandoval and Randy Scholes from Montrose.
Far away
Take a listen to some of these songs on this album. Check out the new Greg Golden album coming out on Red Hawk Records this year. www.greggoldenband.com.
This is the American Liberty Radio Network. Contact us at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com or go to our website at AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com.
We all live in a police state. We must accept that now. What we must do is to challenge every law or ordinance or policy on a local level. We must completely defy all orders that are unconstitutional and unlawful. We must peacefully engage in civil disobedience.
It is our right, our duty, to disobey unconstitutional laws and tyrannical philosophies. We must stand up and defend the basic principles of freedom and liberty.
The nation is falling apart and people are being distracted. We must adhere to the spirit of the words of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
Hey folks, welcome back. American Liberty Radio Network, right here on Spreaker.com and elsewhere. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com for more information. And if you have any questions, concerns, comments, you can ask me anything you like. Doesn't matter. No question is off limits. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. It's that simple. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. I don't have the information in front of me, but I will get it for next time. About the number of refugees that came over into the United States after World War II. Okay? Did the same thing happen then? Did we have fears? Were we intimidated in some way, shape, or form? I mean, was there... is there a simple explanation in all of this? Is there a simple explanation in all of this? Not really. Not really. Because when you look back at history, you can possibly see the reasons why people left Britain at the time, back prior to 1775, and came over to the New World. It wasn't called the United States of America. That wasn't even a thought until 1776. But people came here for a reason. To escape tyranny, to escape fascism, to escape religious persecution. And the bottom line is that we all have to understand that no matter what, the reason why people came over here was because of the fact that they wanted to be free. They wanted to be free from tyranny, from fascism, from all of that. And they fought like hell to be free. And they busted their butt for liberty. And believe me, folks, if you look back at the history of this continent, there were people here long before the Western Europeans came over. Okay? But in 1773, when things began to go south, basically get all screwed up because England wanted more power over the colonies in the new continent here, it got to the point where people were saying, no, we've had enough of the taxing, we've had enough of this, we left your country, we left that area because of what you're trying to do here. So in 1773, 74, 75, the arguments began, and it was simple. There was a need for the people here of the 13 colonies to have peace, freedom, security, and liberty in this nation, and wanted something new. They didn't want the old school tyranny. So they did what they did to separate themselves from the fascist, dictatorial, oftentimes religious, tyrannical religious philosophies that they had at the time. And they fought like hell to free themselves from that. But when you look at everything that helped this country be what it is, it was a combination of a lot of things. The Magna Carta, some other documents from England, some people who were peaceful with the natives that were here. There was a lot of interaction with a lot of people. It just wasn't a whole group of people that stood up and said, we've got to fight for our independence. Oh, that happened too. But it just wasn't like one day everybody's sitting around trying to figure it out. The next day they're out on the battlefield. It wasn't like that. It took years and decades and centuries to build a country based entirely upon the free people and the principles of freedom and liberty that resulted in peace and security. You know, it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. We go to break. Be right back.
The reality underneath the honesty. Listen to Brian Lang over at Live Truth Radio. Go to livetruthradio.com for more information. What we see is not reality. It is distorted reality. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. The only choice for all your independent hits on the internet. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to
RadioRockTheBlitz.blogspot.com. The following program is filled with truth and facts. This program may not be suitable for the liberal-minded. Hey folks, how you doing? American Liberty Radio Network right here on Spreaker.com, AmericanLibertyRadio.com, if you want to go to the website. I noticed when I went to the website, this show was not live on there, so my apologies. If you want to email me, you got questions, I got answers, hopefully. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Folks, this isn't the only thing I do. This is not the only thing I do. You heard some promos there about some voiceover work and stuff like that. I'm writing scripts for an old-time radio style production. So if you're into that, and if you want to do some voiceover work, just volunteer your time. It's pretty simple, folks. It's not gonna hurt. I do other things as well. I've spent a lot of time in theater, in community theater. I've auditioned for several things I've auditioned. In a way, I'll put it that way, for a few things here in Billings, Montana. That's where I'm talking to you from, FEMA Region 8. And you know, we always have to step away from the reality of what's going on every once in a while to clear our minds, to just kind of breathe a little bit. Even when you have continual Zen moments and you're in this peaceful mindset, that's going to weigh on you sometimes, because you've got all your environment impeding you from being happy. But I won't go any farther than that. So I do other things, and I suggest that about the things that I talk about, I suggest that you folks go take a look at what it is I've spoken about today. Now, if there was any time in history that would mean so much to a vast amount of people, it is this day in history. I just don't get why people are so I don't know why people are so twisted in their minds, in the way that they think about what's happening. Why are they not? Why are they not looking at the truth and looking at the facts and examining everything that's right there in front of them? Okay. I just don't get it. Give you a little bit of history. In 1558, Elizabeth I ascended the English throne upon the death of Queen Mary Tudor. Let me jump up a few centuries. 1903, Russia's Social Democrats officially split into two groups, the Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks. Remember the Bolshevik Revolution? 1913, in Germany, Kaiser Wilhelm banned the armed forces from dancing the tango. That's today in history, folks. In 1962, Wallace Washington's Dulles International Airport was dedicated to U.S. President Kennedy. In 1973, U.S. President Nixon told an Associated Press managing editors meeting in Orlando, Florida, quote, "People have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook," unquote. Well, we found out later on that he hid a lot of stuff. 1982, the Empire State Building was added to the National Register of Historical Places. 1990, the Soviet government agreed to change the country's constitution. 1997, Mario Lemieux was voted into the NHL Hall of Fame. 2001, Toys R Us, Times Square, the center of the toy universe, opened in New York City. And just 5 years ago, 2010, researchers trapped 38 antihydrogen atoms. It was the first time humans had trapped antimatter. That's significant, folks. That particular one is significant. Okay? Not like the others weren't, but I'll get into that later. So we have a bunch of Syrian refugees over here. Well, they're considered to be Syrian. And they come over here, and I don't know what they're going to do. Nobody knows who they are or what their background is. The nut job governor in California is fully vetting those. He said they were going to fully vet these people. Yeah, spend more of the California taxpayer money. Let me tell you something, folks. California's done. It's over. California is only, well, let's just say it only exists on paper. Okay? California's done. Okay? With the UN Agenda 21 Sustainable Development policies that are running rampant through California, and now the governor's doing this, and the billions of dollars going to be spent on a high-speed rail train from L.A. to Las Vegas. I think that's what they're doing. California's done. Financially, economically, socially, politically, California is done. There's absolutely, positively no way that the state of California is ever going to bounce back from this. You have a group of people in Southern Oregon and Northern California who want to split the state up there and call it Jefferson. Well, I hope they do. I know there are a lot of people in California. My family lives in California. And I guarantee you that if they caught wind of the fact that California is gone, and I hope somebody informs them that it is, that they would pack up and just leave. Because it's time to move, folks. It's not time to sit around on your haunches and get ready to, just watch the world go by. You just can't do that anymore. You just can't. There's no way. So what you want to do is you want to get up, you want to learn, you want to research, you want to do your work, and you want to find out what's going on. It only gives you more information to help you move on down the line. But then there's still going to be the situation of the refugees. Why? Why are we allowing these people into this country? Why? Well, I'm going to throw this little scenario out at you. How's this? We tell Mexico, shut the flow of people off to the United States. Because now some of the militias and some of our own people are down at the southern border stopping them from getting across. They've been doing that for over a year now. And that was one of the places where cheap labor can come over and destroy this country economically. And yeah, that's what happens. Cheap labor or expensive labor. Either way, it's going to destroy the country. So when that was stopped and that was put out, and it's still going on, but it's not as huge as it was a year ago. Now the president just decided, well, okay, let's go let's go talk to France. Let's go create a false flag event. Let's go, screw people over there in France. And then, say it's for, the people in Syria. Well, Syria battle has been going on for 3 or 4 years, and we're the ones that started it. And the Syrian rebels are being funded and operated by the U.S. intelligence service. And, of course, Mossad, I guess. I think in that part of it. I'm not sure. But point is, now we have Syrian refugees coming over. And the only way they can ever get any help of the United States is to call themselves refugees. The president knows it. His advisors know it. Yeah, they just can't come over here illegally. Well, if the Mexicans did that and crossed the southern border and said, I'm a refugee, they'd get the same thing. But they do, I mean, basically, folks, the only borders that are wide open but nobody's coming through is the West Coast and the East Coast. Okay? I don't see any huge cruise ships coming from the Middle East with hundreds of and thousands maybe of refugees on it. I don't see that coming from Germany. I don't see that coming from Russia. I don't see that coming from China. No, only from the Middle East. Why? I'll tell you why. Let me speculate. The United States of America wants to take down Turkey, wants to take down Syria, wants to take down those countries that surround what country or are nearby what country? Saudi Arabia. That's where we get most of our oil. Okay? I'm only speculating, but I think the plan is, through the help of the Mossad, of the CIA, of the United Nations, whatever organization that is going to gain power and prestige in all of this, I believe that the United States military-industrial complex and the President of the United States of America wants to get rid of Saudi Arabia. Now, I say that because looking back in history, you can see that all these countries, such as Russia and Germany and all these other countries back 50, 60, 70 years ago, were all surrounded by one group of people, and that would be the United States military. And when I was in the military, one of our instructors told us in class one day, can you point out, he had the world map up on the wall, and he said, can you point out where all the enemy is? Can you point out where the terrorists are? Can you point out where all these people are? And guess what? Oh, my phone is ringing. And it's a marketing thing. Oh, well. Sorry. So he pointed it out, and he pointed up at the map, and he said, they're here, 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 here. And he just, guess what? They're all around the United States. Including our neighbor 90 miles off of Florida, Cuba. And it went from there. So when I got out of the military, I thought to myself, wait a minute, there's something not quite right here. Okay? There was something not quite right here. And I looked it up. And he was right. He was right. They weren't as close as he said they were, but he was right in a general sense. So what did we do? What is our military-industrial complex doing right now? That's something that you'll have to answer for yourself. But I can tell you right now, there's not enough military in the United States to be able to defend a vast majority of the United States citizens. That's where you and I come in, folks. That's where the militias that are credible, that are, okay, that's where they come in. There's not enough. I mean, look, crunch the numbers. Are there enough National Guard members? And when I talk National Guard, I'm talking Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and on obviously in the water it would be the Coast Guard, but I don't think they have a reserve unit. But I don't believe there's enough of them to be able to go through the United States and stop all this crap. From what I understood from listening to Nick Larson on the Resistance, his show on Spreaker, was that he said there's 26 states that have refused to accept Syrian refugees. Well, the map I saw only showed about 6. So I don't know where he's coming up with the other 20, but, I'll look for it. I'll examine it. But the facts are the facts, folks. We cannot and will not put up with bullcrap anymore. We are United States of America. We are United States patriots. We are current and former members of the military, all branches. And we either stand up for this country, for our rights, for our republic, not a democracy, folks. Go check in your history. This is not a democracy. This is a constitutional representative republic. It's supposed to be. So we need to take all of these people, you and I, and those military and militia members, and stand up for what we believe. And protect this country from the onslaught of the bullcrap coming out of Washington, D.C. We need to do that. Because if we don't, you might as well start learning a different language. Because I can almost say that if you don't get up right now and start doing what you need to do to protect this nation and your state and your city and your neighborhood, you're not going to have nothing left. And then they're going to come for your wife, your husband, your kids, and they're going to break you up, take you away, and probably worse. But it's not enough that we just sit here and complain and bitch and moan and groan about things. It's not enough that we sit here and discuss these things openly like we are right now. It's not enough that I sit here and tell you about all this stuff. It's not enough that you listen to me or anybody else talk about this stuff. You need to get out and do your work in securing the liberties and freedoms of this nation and of your city, state, county, your family, your schools. More needs to be done. And I'm not talking next week. I'm not talking a week after. I'm not talking next year. No. I'm talking right now. Okay? That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I don't know, folks. I really, really, really don't know. I'm going to take off and go away. It's always been fun. This is a live show, of course. You can hear it in archives on Spreaker and also on the website as soon as I put it up there. So come check me out. American Liberty Radio at USA.com is the email address. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. You can go to the website at AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Check that out as well. And don't be afraid to speak out. Go check out also Brian Lang at LiveTruthRadio.com. Stand up, speak out, get involved. Talk to y'all later. Have a great day.